with the brother Nathan from Nebraska, here at the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, the 17th, and with Sister Susana Key from Chicago, Chicana, and I'd like you to introduce yourself and your peoples here for a quick minute. We have like the UN headquarters in the background, so yes, Brother Nathan.
My name is Nathan Phillips from the Omaha Nation, Nebraska and Iowa. From the Deer Clan, it's my clan. I'd give you my Indian name, but when 1960 I was stolen away from my family in assimilation process here in the United States, taking all our Indian children away from us, and that's lived with non-native people for most of my life until I was 17, joined the Marine Corps. Then 10 years later, found my indigenous family again, so I'm back. And last 34 years I've been, working for the people, been put the alcohol down, not because I'm an alcoholic or anything, but because our spiritual ways say that you shouldn't be drinking and handling these sacred items. So I put the alcohol away so I could do this.
Okay. So you've been out of these questions for some time because of illness in the family and.
My wife, Shoshana, caught the cancer about 15 years ago. Well, she's about 17 years ago now. She had the cancer for 15 years. 2 years ago, well, this July 15th will be our 3rd anniversary of her passing from having bone marrow cancer. She picked that up out at the Nevada test site while we were fighting the nuclear testing out there on Western Shoshone lands. And so we're back, and I'm trying to, get all the things that I can all the information I can gather up, all the things that I've, in the last 10 years, fighting the cancer with my wife. It's been kind of a focus.
Is this year your first occasion at the Permanent Forum at the United Nations?
My first time inside.
Okay, inside.
The first time I came to the United Nations was in 87, 88, with Thomas Banyaka. Who brought the Hope and Prophecies and the fight for this permanent forum.
Okay, you've come here driving all the way from Nebraska.
Oh, we came from Washington State.
From Washington State, even further out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were out there during working on the no LNG. Morgan.
I noticed you gave a beautiful, passionate statement. They gave you two turns. You got the full 6 minutes. I don't know if I'll give you as much because we have a little time in the library here at the UN. But it was very passionate. And how have you felt at this turn at the forum? How do you feel? You mentioned that there's like a need for more spirituality and.
Oh, absolutely. More spirituality, more of our indigenous religion.
Okay.
That this is the way we have always done things. When we begin something like this, it's always been a word to God first.
Okay.
And I haven't felt that or seen that here.
Okay.
It's like every morning we should be out here at sunrise, making a plea to Creator. Help us with our words, help us to make this work happen. In a good way like that. But there's people who don't believe in God or have a different idea of how God should be. But this is the indigenous people's world.
Okay.
This is not repeal the doctrine of discovery.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm sorry.
No, you're right on point, man. You speak from the heart. You got like another minute if.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that's it.
No, I'm really about bringing the spirituality to here to the United Nations. I did a prayer walk yesterday, Sunday, on Mother Earth Day, and we said prayers. We put tobacco down. We dedicated it to Olivia. I'm sorry, I don't know her last name, but she's the medicine woman who was shot and killed
in Peru, I think,
last week during our forum.
Yes.
And so we dedicated the walk
for
all those who have gone on, whose ultimate sacrifices, bring us here today.
Right on. I think it's very beautiful the point you made, because I think they allow that because people needed it. They've been so how can I say, just dried out and dispassionate and dispirited, and you brought the spirit back in. That's why your words were a blessing, on Friday. And man, thanks a lot. And Tlazohcamati, I don't know how to say it in your native language, but
Wiblaha.
Wiblaha. Thank you so much. Wiblaha. Sister Susana, you were there as well, and you didn't get your turn, and but you made your turn be had. I mean, not fully, but in part you brought on more spirit as well. Your name and where you're from, your peoples.
I'm Susana Sandoval. I'm Teosinti Acatulato. I'm of the Purepecha Nation and from the state of Michoacan in Mexico. And I do identify as a Chicana, and so I thank you for including that as well. And that's a really big point because the last time I was here, I came with the Chicana-led delegation.
Okay.
And we had a little difficulty being accepted into some of the forums, some of the sessions, because it seemed that we needed to validate how indigenous we were or how, at what point. And there was this discussion around, Chicanas being, or Chicanos as a people being indigenous versus being, American versus being, et cetera. And so the last time I was here was well over a decade ago with a Chicana-led delegation that brought braceros with us. We had two that came to actually testify, and we were talking about the injustices at that time of the temporary worker programs, or still to date, those workers still have yet to be paid, and yet the U.S. is still asking for temporary worker programs. They're doing deportation raids across the country, and indigenous peoples still have our lands, being taken from us, and our resources being taken from our communities. And so I had the same feeling I had when I was here last time, but it was coupled with a more of a strategic process of understanding the level of bureaucracy that this institution has, and also the level of opportunity of the timing of this session. And so with any historic process, there are different opportunities, different intersections of peoples that have the opportunity to work together. And being able to verbalize what I did on Friday was very simple. It wasn't just having my 3 minutes, but really advocating for the other 25 people who still that one day alone had wanted to speak, and realizing that quite a few of the member states had more opportunity to speak in their defense rather than listening to the indigenous voices that were in the room. And I felt that I couldn't leave the room, that space, that evening, that week, without actually vocalizing what I know my own ancestors would have done had they been in that situation themselves. And I have seen, the opportunity that this forum, that I believe it's still, I remain optimistic of, the ability to build that momentum that's necessary for indigenous peoples. We have a declaration that has been passed. Sure, it hasn't been signed, but we also have, World Court, and we have an Inter-American Court, and we have these other institutions that we should be, besides filing an annual report of, the atrocities that are happening to indigenous peoples, we should have a work plan that we can build amongst ourselves. Many of us here, Brother Nathan has had, decades before I am, working on different issues, and that intergenerational effort is really important. I'd also like to see more youth involved. That was one thing that was really apparent, was that there weren't enough youth in the room, younger, 17 to 25-year-olds in the room, that should be, if at minimum, observing, but definitely that the youth forum needs to flourish so that at least the youth here locally or within the region could come and participate in. And so I felt that, that's something I want to just state for the record too, is that the youth component I think is really important, because otherwise, we don't have the generations speaking to each other. And like Brother Nathan was saying, we have a particular way, our people's had a particular way of communicating with each other.
Right on.
And let us not be taking on this power struggle of a new system, and that we build a system that allows people to flow with our communication, and that we are prayerful when we start the morning, because that's going to set a certain tone in the room for the way people respect each other, and that we are constantly reminded that we may come from different lands and different peoples, but we're all united, into one. And so, it's an opportunity to reflect on the week's work, but also realize that many people that there's a youth that's put it very eloquently. Anyone sitting in that room had to experience some level of privilege to even be in that room.
Yeah.
Whether you spoke or you didn't speak, but the fact that the opportunity that you were free to even come to that type of space, because in many communities, the thought of you having the revolutionary thought of you expressing your opinion doesn't exist.
Yes.
Does not exist. And for many of the people who came with their, for their on behalf of their people, we live in that reality, of knowing that those freedoms are not respected.
Yes. I mean, thank you for correcting, because I had a feeling that you'd go beyond, because myself, I started with just like the Chicana. I knew you were further beyond because your folks are from Morelia and whatnot, so definitely the Purepeche aspect is grand and well preserved. I have to recognize myself pues como Chipcha y Mixteco y Chicano pues también. I think I had the chance to go in the libraries here, and I think it's Kayari, so I think it's writer. It's a beautiful language, Purepecha, and definitely. So I know I don't want to get kicked out and it's gonna look bad, but it's las gracias en Purepecha se me olvida. Oh man, but it's been a blessing. This is brief. This is like a preview. Hopefully we get a chance to like speak further, but I think it's we're how can I say, just in this space in the UN, and like it's been awesome. Seguimos adelante. So, just any final words?
Yes, I would like to.
If you missed anything.
Yes, I did miss one thing. Is that Native Youth Alliance, the organization that came in with this, has been around since in the early '90s. It's incorporated. We're in good standing.
Okay.
The DC, and it was. We're really looking forward to coming back next year, and we're going to be putting a call out for young people 18 to 25 to join us next year.
Native Youth Alliance, right?
Native Youth Alliance.
Do you know the
yes.
website, if anything?
It's nativeyouthAlliance.com.
Could be .com or
I think
.org.
.com.
Yeah, .com. All right, sweet.
.com. It's brand new. It probably doesn't have anything on there.
Okay.
That's our purpose for this whole year.
That's the one your daughter's designing, right?
Yep, that's
All
the
right,
one.
beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'll get the text from her later, and then I could just put it right under.
Absolutely.
No biggie. All right, sweet. And the email and all that good stuff.
Yep.
All right, right on, Nathan.
Right now we're just a Facebook page, Native Youth Alliance.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
And
I just want to thank you for your work. I know that these are brief moments that we have with each other.
Nathan?
You.
Oh.
You.
You, brother.
You want to put me on film? I was like, I don't get my say. Yeah. Hold it on to me, because I was like, I couldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm saying thank you to you for your work. These are brief moments that we have. We are only blessed with 24 hours every day. I understand the challenges of having a family member. I lost my father to cancer after a 4-year battle, and so I know that these are instances where we must be loving to each other as we can, and be related to each other as we can by communicating. And thank you for taking time out of your day and inviting us to have this dialogue with you. And really appreciate the work that you're doing here locally in New York. So
It'll continue.
we've got 3 states represented here, at least technically, and plenty of other communities. So
Yeah,
let this not be the last time we see each other. So Tlazohcamati too, as well.
Tlazohcamati, yeah, you know it. I mean, I think I should just say one little thing. I mean, this is some wild times. There are always wild times, but I think with the Trump administration, I don't know, and it's like the similarity with regard to the pressure being so strong this time, and but honestly, at the same time, it's like bringing us more together and pushing us to like go further and unite further, and you know, it's not it's a, how can I say, a blessing and a, I don't know, punishment and blessing at the same time. I don't know, it's yeah, but Tlazohcamati is Sihika in the Cheap Chat language. Thank you.
Thank you.